allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bessler, Collins, Coyle,
Here.
Lee,
Here.
Owen, here, Yusuf Abramson,
Here.
Austriaco.
Here. So first of all, I'd like to go ahead and start the meeting with wishing everyone Happy New Year and hope everyone had a really great holiday. It's been really great weather that we've had here in Chicago, so hopefully it lasts until the summer. So, anyway, let's go ahead and start with one of our favorite parts of the agenda today, which is the 207's Best for Academic Achievements. So starting us off is Mr. Collins from Mason.
Great. From this month in Maine South, we'd like to recognize Kate Stewart. So Kate, come up here. I got to know Kate a little bit before winter break, and she's easily one of the most internally motivated students I've ever met in my life. She's never seen a bee before, so when she was talking about just what it takes to get through all of her courses, because she has the highest GPA in the school, when you look at the classes she's taken the hardest classes that we have to offer. She said, I just know that I'm capable of doing well, so then why wouldn't I just want to do well and do better? And I thought that was just really put a note on how she is as a person, how she accepts all the challenges in her life. She's the editor of a yearbook. She's in the PE leadership program. She's on the C team, Unit 3, right? She's in AP biology, AP psychology, AP English literature and composition, multivariable calculus and differential equations, and has pretty much taken AP everything since her freshman year. She's also a three-sport athlete because she's got a lot of time on her hands with that really hard academic load. So she ran cross-country, did indoor track, and also played softball. She's also a tutor at Compass Educational Services and works at the Park Ridge Farmers Market. She's volunteered for Special Olympics soccer and is also a part of the junior and senior class councils, a member of NHS Science, NHS, and environmental clubs. So needless to say, she's extremely busy. Alex Stefakis, her freshman English 1 accelerated teacher, who had her 4 years ago, wrote this. Though it has been 3 years since I had Kate in class, I remember her as one of the top students I ever had, a paradigm of intelligence, interest, initiative, and empathy. While it is obvious that she is deserving of this academic honor, perhaps even more impressive is that she is able to achieve such academic heights while modeling all of our school's Hawk Pride principles. Kate's investment in Maine South is not only visible in her academic work, but also in her commitment to athletics and publications and her day-to-day interactions with students and staff alike. She truly makes this a better place to learn and teach, and I'm grateful to have gotten to know her. Beth Ann Ball, Kate's AP Calculus BC teacher who's here this evening, said, Kate is analytical and hardworking. She loves a challenge and works exceptionally well under pressure. Kate has an amazingly positive, can-do attitude, a terrific sense of humor, and does her best always. She is afforded the highest respect by her classmates, the faculty, and the administration of Maine South High School, and by all who come in contact with her. Kate has a proven track record of taking full advantage of all the opportunities available to her and using what she has learned to make a positive contribution to the lives of others. Kate still has tremendous untapped potential. She is open to new thinking and new ideas and will grow in the next 4 years, as well as help others around her grow. I look forward to hearing from Kate in the future because she will make a difference in people's lives. Annie Trinkle, her American government teacher, says, Kate is the perfect choice to receive this recognition from District 207. Kate has a brilliant mind and an incredible work ethic. On the Constitution team this year, she is able to command the stage by making compelling arguments based on her deep research into difficult legal issues. She's the epitome of poise as well, never getting flustered in the key moment. Most importantly of all, I have found her to be a great teammate in person. She makes others around her confident and the class a better place to be. And finally, Sona Tarosian, her senior leaders in the PE department, said, Kate Stewart is one of a kind. I have known her since freshman year, and she is absolutely driven to succeed. She came in extremely mature, focused, and with a vision. What really impresses me about Kate is not only is she high in her academic achievements throughout her 4 years at Maine South, but she's also been involved in athletics and clubs. She encompasses all Maine South has to offer and attacks every challenge with the intent to be on top. She's one of the kindest and most welcoming individuals I have met in my 21 years of teaching. She's always positive and brings so much joy to each class she's a part of. She's one of our top leaders in our senior PE leaders program and makes a difference every day to the students that she works with. I cannot say enough about Kate, but I know she will be successful in all that she does and anything she's a part of. She's a great representation of Maine South and its community, and to be the recipient of District 207's Best in Academic Achievement is a perfect way for all of her hard work and dedication to be recognized. Kate is, in one word, amazing. So Kate, you are really a remarkable young woman, and you've done so much with such a hard slate of classes and just easily achieved through all that. So we're very, very lucky to call you a student here in District 207 and at Maine South. So congratulations. So if you'd like to tell us who's here with you this evening.
Thank you so much for recognizing me. I'm here with my parents and my younger sister.
Awesome. And then what are your plans for next year?
I want to pursue a pre-med track, but I'm still undecided on which school I'll do that at.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank
Keep up the good work.
Congratulations, Kate. So our next 207's best is from Maine East, Mr. Kessler.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. I'm very happy to introduce and present Anami Patel as our 207's best from Maine East. So Anami, in her 3.5 going on home stretch here at Maine East, has been certainly right at the very top of her class all the way through. She has been in AP and accelerated everything for about as long as she could. Interesting, she's one of the students that actually had AP Calculus BC as a sophomore, which typically is sometimes junior and a lot of times a senior level class, but has been involved very, very successfully in terms of all of those sorts of studies. She's also been involved in AP Computer Science A, Physics, Statistics, APUSH, U.S. History, so on and so forth. She's also active in the Gifted Lyceum program. She's earned distinction as a National Merit Commended Scholar, and she's also designated an AP Scholar with Distinction. She's a member of the National Spanish Exam, was a silver medalist there, and has earned high honors in multiple science and social science classes. Was named a Student of the Month 8 times by various teachers over the last 3.5 years. In addition, she belongs to Nu Alpha Theta, the Math Honor Society, National Honor Society, Spanish National Honor Society. Is very active in Maine East Cares, our charity club, Rotary Interact, Maine Historical Society, and she's a tech genius. She's been a 3-year member of East Student Council and a 4-year member of Class Council, where she has also been very active. And as vice president for the school's Novus Club for the past 3 years, she's mentored members, helped plan and execute various operations, won awards for her team for 2 years running. This year she helped her team win first place for Seed Investment Prize. In addition to what she's doing at Maine East, she's also pretty active outside Maine East. She volunteers at Motorola, where she's created various prototypes for the company, including a prototype for a firefighter's visor that would show the temperature of the fire so that they can leave the area before an explosion, tracks the location of fellow firefighters, retraces their steps, locates the nearest exit, and maintains real-time contact with other firefighters, chief, emergency personnel, shows an aerial view of the building. She also interns at VMO Harris, where she assists with operational tasks. She volunteers at the Plains Library, and on top of that, she mentors about 30 middle school students in web programming at Hello World Boot Camp, which is sponsored by Massachusetts Institute of Technology Society of Women Engineers. Additionally, she speaks Spanish and Gujarati, is proficient in JavaScript, and somehow she's managed to find time to play piano for 11 minutes. But wait, there's more. When I, again, reached out to a number of her teachers, and a lot of information, more than I could include in the letter, but some of the standouts, her Spanish language teacher, Tomas Sentado, said, "I've had Anami in class for 2 years, and she is the real deal. Smart, hardworking, mature, responsible. If you wanted to put a face, other than the Maine East Blue Demon, to the values of our code, being respectful, responsible, ready for school, that would be the face of this student. The highest quality, in my opinion, is how conscientious she is, never an assignment unfinished, a project left for later, a test unprepared." Shanez Solomon, who is a social science teacher in, up in here, is it, thanks, AP Econ. She said, when I think of Anami, the first words that come to mind are that she's determined and she is dedicated. Determined to excel in everything that she does and determined to make a real difference all around her. She's brilliant, and yet she's so humble. Instead of being intimidated by her academic achievements, students flock to her for help. Regardless of their level, Anami is able to work effectively on every team and be a leader that others look up to. AP English Lit and Composition, Dave Hessert, said she displays a rare level of intellectual curiosity. She's a very intelligent and sensitive reader. While many students sometimes rush through taking available shortcuts, Anami gives her full attention to the task at hand. Whether the task is reading obscure text, writing essays, or creating fiction, Anami's work is always thorough and deliberate. She has a precise and logical mind, but she also enjoys writing poetry and fiction. Not only is she intelligent, but she's organized and responsible. She never missed a deadline and frequently discusses her ideas with me before proceeding. She always does a thorough job. She seems to have an endless reserve of positive energy. She has a natural and easy way with people. Her peers respect her, and she displays the same comfort level around adults that around adults as she does with teens. Gifted Lyceum Program Coordinator and our AP Bio teacher, Judy Tyler, who's here, said, I've known Anami for almost 2 years as a member of the Lyceum program, as well as being a student in my AP Bio class. Her ability to synthesize new information is rapid and thorough. She asks deep and thoughtful questions and loves talking out concepts with her partner. She never rushes to give answers, and she thoughtfully waits for others to think ideas through. Anami loves helping other students, but does so in a way that is neither condescending nor boastful. She is especially kind to a student in our class that seems to struggle. Anami goes out of her way to work with the student and study for exams with her. I'm simply stunned by her selflessness. Judy goes on to explain this past summer on the service trip to Detroit that Anami's intuitive and empathetic nature truly shone through. We were scraping and painting a cinder block wall in the center for developmentally disabled adults. It's extremely hard work in hot and humid conditions, so we had to wear masks because of thick dust, and everybody needed to take multiple breaks. Many of us had to rotate in and out of that job because of difficulty. And Anami continued to work on that wall for the entire afternoon. And even though it was exhausting, I had this wonderful picture of Anami smiling ear to ear with her mask hanging down below her chin when we finished the work. She loves to get results. Judy went on to explain the nightly reflections that the team does every day during the trip were insightful and meaningful, and she said that she believed this was a transformative experience. She said Anami is simply one of the finest students I've ever had in my 32 years as an educator. She's one of those students that I look back and say, there was the best of the best. Possessing an entire package of drive, ambition, empathy, creativity, and social capital, Anami is the model student, friend, servant, and innovator. So, quite short, by all accounts, seems like she's motivated and pretty hardworking. And again, it's the consensus with everybody who knows her well that whatever her path ends up being in this life, she's really going to make a difference. I think we're in really good hands, and I'm very proud of you and thank you for everything you do. Congratulations. So who's here with you tonight?
My parents, and then Mr. Melton and Ms. Tyler.
Great. And what are your plans next year?
I plan to pursue computer science, and I'm still undecided as to what I'll do.
Very good.
Congratulations. So from Maine West, if we can have Mrs. Nat introduce the students.
Sure, I'm very happy tonight to present the 7th Best for Academic Achievement to Malika Zaidi. At least 3 or 4 times, can you come to Sorry, you're on the spotlight. At least 3 or 4 times when I was preparing the notes and assembling them for this presentation, I had to look back at the calendar and make sure I had the right one. Because Malika could legitimately be nominated for 207's Best in at least 2 or 3 categories. And tonight, when I outline why she is really deserving of the award for academic achievement, I will talk about how she has mastered learning objectives that transcend our classrooms too. So I hope you'll forgive me if I forget sometimes that this is about academics, if I'm distracted by her accompanying accomplishments in service and leadership. She is not just one of 207's best, she's an exemplary human being, and I'm really proud to know her. And I am clearly not alone. Teachers rushed to respond when I asked for insight into her contributions to their classes and activities. I received too many replies to include all of them here. They said things like, she has been an absolute privilege to have in class, Mr. Oakville. Malika has been an extraordinarily responsible, enthusiastic role model for her peers. They spoke of her dedication, leadership, inquisitiveness, grace, Mr. Barnes. Her work ethic, active learning, insightful comments, Mr. Malone. These are terrific accolades, but they only begin to convey the impact Malika has had on those around her. Teacher after teacher spoke of her generosity to others and her ability to make people better, students and adults alike. So I have some more quotes here. I want Malika to know how much of an effect she has had on me. She has this rare ability to create instant synergy in a team setting because of the way she treats people. She has inspired me to be more articulate, kind, and inclusive in my own interactions. Malika is the first person we turn to when we need something done. She navigates enormous tasks with grace and absolutely no waste. I strive to be more like her. Mr. Haskins. It's such a blessing to work with Malika, and it's impossible to list all of the reasons. If I were to pick one of Malika's attributes that I found to be most impressive, it would have to be the genuine way in which she conducts herself. She is certainly intelligent, kind, and strong in character, but she illustrates all of these features with such a profound impact on others because of the genuine way in which they are manifested. You couldn't have picked a more deserving student to be recognized. Mr. Honesty. As editor-in-chief of The Westerner, Malika creates well-researched, well-conceived writing, always before deadline, and she helps mentor the rest of the newspaper staff to do the same. Reflecting on Veterans Day, for example, Malika wanted to write an article last year to show what life is like for those who serve in the military. She combed through archives, scoured files, and dug through social media to find dozens of Midwest alumni who had served in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan, who could share their experiences firsthand. Malika spent hours on the phone with them, listening to these veterans describe their feelings about life on the front lines, so that she could share their anecdotes and reflections in her reporting. One of Malika's greatest strengths is her ability to connect with people, and in her reporting she uses this to humanize issues that might otherwise seem abstract for students. I was struck by how much these comments spoke to Malika's human goodness, which matters more than her academics. But lest we lose sight of those, let me just point out a few things. First, Malika's transcript reveals an unbroken, perfect string of A's. Other letters that appear as bonus on that transcript are A and P. This year, Malika's only non-AP classes are newspaper practical and PE. And she is the editor-in-chief and a senior leader in those. She reliably chooses the most rigorous path for herself. When I asked Malika to explain where her motivation comes from, she said, when you're given the opportunity to learn, you take it. She highlighted hard work as a family characteristic, describing the example of her sisters and the encouragement, not pressure, from her parents, who often urge her to take a break and rest. But what Malika said, if you want something, you've got to work hard. I never rest until I'm done. But I enjoy all of it, so it's okay. If you wait for Malika's ready to complain about something being hard, you'll find your way to walk. So I asked Malika, of all of your activities, which would you never give up? She gushed about her National Honor Society service project. Quote, if we stopped, people wouldn't get what they needed. She joined Voice for the Nameless last year because I felt called to it, and looks forward every month to the trips to Inspiration Corporation, where she volunteered to serve food to the homeless because she confessed, I can't cook. And it came as a relief to learn that there actually is something Malika can't do that I don't really believe. Certainly she can manage her time, as she is the editor-in-chief of The Westerner, president of Phi Sigma Pi, the Social Science Honor Society, vice president of the National Honor Society and the Science National Honor Society, secretary of the Socials Leadership Team, and lead crew commissioner. Malika found time for piano in her course schedule because she wanted to learn how to play. And she found time for healthcare careers because she wanted career experiences before I applied to premium programs. Shadowing on several units at Lutheran General Hospital, Malika was given the opportunity to learn about her future and herself. The result? I learned I loved it. She has since applied for some summer programs to learn more about specific specialties in medicine, which she will begin preparing for in earnest next year in college. It is a foregone conclusion in my mind that in this endeavor or in any other that she may feel called to pursue, she will excel in learning and service to humanity. in a genuinely gracious way, which she always has. So on behalf of the Maine West High School faculty and staff, I'm thrilled to present this honor for academic achievement to Malika as he truly represents 207. Share who is here with you tonight. Can you present who's here?
Yeah, so I have my mom and my dad here with me today.
Thank you. And plans for next year?
I want to go to a four-year institution following the pre-med track and then hopefully pursue a career in the medical field. So yeah, great with my plans. Thank you.
Congratulations again to Kate, Anand, and Malika, and you guys make us all feel proud of your District 207. This is your opportunity to actually leave and take photos outside, and if you are so inclined, feel free to come back if you want to join us for our meeting, but otherwise, you can have your photos taken with your principals. And thank you so much.
No pressure. Well, I will just say, with this night of the year, we celebrate. I've been here for a long time, 15 years, 75, well. Depends on the year. This one here, if you look at the quartiles of our GPA, top quartile is 60+% female. The bottom quartile is 60+% male.
Not Facebook, the website. Hopefully my video quality is okay. No, don't worry, I'll cut it, I'll edit it.
No. Just if you just look at GPA.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, let's go on to item number 3, which is communications. Any public comments? Seeing none, let's go to update from superintendent.
Not a lot to report, just Happy New Year. We're on the home stretch here for the second semester and have a whole lot in front of us. We're able to talk a little bit tonight about upcoming things, and we'll be back together with the board later this month and start putting bids on the street to start breaking ground this spring. So I know South is already doing some moving over in that building and taking, in Ben's office buildings, taking things off the wall. So it's about to get real. And so, with that, I just want to remind the board, anytime you do something of this magnitude, displace people for the amount of time that we're going to do it, it will cause a little bit of distress on the system. But we're tough and resilient, and we'll look forward to the other side of this when we can see it all done.
Yes, looking forward to that one. Updates from board members?
Nothing much, but I just want to wish everyone a happy New Year. It's a year of red, but it's white red. So starting all over a new year, 60-year cycle, so starting anew. So it will be a great year for everyone who wants that.
White red? Is that what
So white, white mouse or white red.
Is it a mouse or is it a rat? I mean,
It will be a good year,
So
great
it's
year.
the 60th,
But
so
the
that's how
cycle.
long the cycle is.
So
Oh,
it starts
terrific.
there.
Good to know.
Yeah.
That is good to know. All right.
Wish everyone
we
a
need some good news.
So we can start the next 60 years off the right way.
There you
Yeah,
go.
okay, all right. All right, thanks, Jen. Education committee update,
Yes,
Carla?
yes. The Education Committee had a meeting on December 10th. Present were myself, Jen Lee, and Sheila Yusuf Abramson. The Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Innovation, Sean Messmer, briefly ran through name changes to some already approved new courses to bring them in line with course names in, I believe, Oakton primarily, community college. The board is going to be looking at those tonight, and the committee recommended that we waive the first reading and approve those course name changes. That'll be coming up a little bit further on the agenda. Mr. Messner also reviewed current credit requirements for District 207, as well as requirements for similar districts and state graduation requirements. The district is reviewing credit requirements to determine whether, some changes should be considered by the board. No changes are being recommended at this time. There were no other updates, and the meeting was adjourned at 9:02. That's about an hour. No, after.
Thanks, Carl. You want to move on to the ad?
Yes, right after that, the ad hoc policy committee meeting, committee met, also on December 10th. President of that meeting were Austriaco and myself. This was a meeting that we held to go over policies that Assistant Superintendent for General Administration Greg Dietz presented to us primarily in response to the passing of new education laws. So we reviewed those, and a number of those are coming forward today for first reading. However, a number are also being held back just to give a little more review, and they'll be coming forward later. We are still in the process of working with press to get all of our policies into a more automated model, and that's taken quite a bit of time. Thank you, Greg, for working on that, and anyone else who's been helping out with that. And that's it. Those are the two meetings.
Thanks, Carla. For the finance committee, Linda?
Sure. So, the finance committee was scheduled to proceed on December 16th of 2019. There was no formal meeting held because there was not a quorum. But we did go on to informally discuss several things. We discussed the budget parameters for 2020 through 2021, Sprint property liability renewal, request for proposal regarding the graduation gifts and flowers, as well as 403B plan amendment, eligibility and distribution hardship changes. Tonight, the full board will vote on budget parameters as well as Sprint. And I do believe tonight we will also be asked to approve a 3-year agreement with the commencement group for graduation flowers and gifts because they were the lowest bidder and we haven't. We will also be asked to approve the 403B plan amendment.
Thanks, Linda. And for buildings and grounds committee, Sheila?
Sure. So we met on December 16th, 2019. Present were Terry Collins and myself. We called the meeting to order at 5:21. There were no public comments. Ms. Callis noted that staff has had an opportunity to complete a survey on their choice for teacher workroom furniture. The pieces have been on display at the main east, and representatives from each school attended the presentation at each workstation. Classroom furniture has been piloted over the past 2 years. The furniture will be ordered and received at the start of the school year. Pepper Construction also ran through and defined the following: project labor agreement, general requirements performed by construction management, phasing revisions since the November meeting, and upcoming milestones. The project labor agreement mitigates the potential for a labor strike and will begin the negotiations to get the agreement in place prior to the first major bid package. General requirements, as CM provides the CM with better control and open book accounting of the district. There will be 27 packages for bid, which will open in early January with award recommendations for long lead time work at the February board meeting. A special board meeting will be held on March 9th to award phase 1 packages. Also, abatement work will begin on March 20th, and mobilization of site work will begin on May 11th of 2020. And phase 2 bidding will be for the beginning of August. We adjourned at 6:03.
Thanks, Sheila. Construction updates? Mary?
Sure. There's not much to add to the information you just received. As indicated, we're moving into what I call the focus on procurement, where we're going out to bid we're working through how we're going to purchase items that we won't be bidding using joint agreements, which are cooperatives that have already bid items, so that it expedites some purchasing. But that is, we're coming to the end of phase one designs. The designs are, we never say set in concrete, but they're pretty well baked, as they're gonna go out, those 27 packages go out on the street in less than 3 weeks. The long lead items are already on the street, so there are 6 packages in there that will be opened later this month and then presented to the board in February.
That's exciting.
It is exciting.
Just a question on those furnitures for teachers in the classroom. So it's been already set up and people already come by and taking a look at it, right?
Yes.
Or the other students or anybody who may be interested in future of these furnitures, anybody can just walk in and take a look at it too?
So what we've done is over the past 2 years, we've piloted classroom furniture in individual classrooms. So teachers, students have given input on that, but then we had 9 teacher workstations set up. They're now dismantled. So we had the company come in and set them up in a room, and then we brought staff in to review them, then did some videos and did a whole staff survey so that we could collect the teacher workroom furniture. But this
Was
is
this
really.
one day display or is one day?
It was, we had it for a couple weeks, but, we're getting samples from the vendors and then the vendors take them back.
Any other questions for Mary? If not, thanks, Mary. Monthly sales and finances, Mary?
In your board packet is the November financial statements. As you look at the funds, the only funds where you'll see some anomalies from previous years are in the debt service fund, and that is due to the sale of bonds. That is an atypical thing, but we've sold bonds this year to fund the referendum project, so you'll see a little spike in the debt service fund. All other funds are in line with the budget and are consistent with previous years. The second item is the budget timeline and assumptions. So we actually begin budget preparations in November with the tentative levy, and they go all the way through the adoption of the budget in September. So we've outlined what we do each and every month for the budget timeline and then the assumptions. A large piece of the assumptions you'll see is TVA, because our teachers' contract is up for renewal or renegotiation at the end of this year, so we don't know yet what that contract will hold for next year. So that's why you'll see a TVA and those salaries for teachers and teaching assistants. We anticipate, given our assumptions for CPI, collections, interest, salaries, purchase services, that excluding the referendum impact of the facility master plan, that we will have a deficit of no greater than $2.4 million, which as a percentage of about $140 million budget is not very significant. We always generally do better than budget, so even if we have a budgeted deficit of 2.4, we'd be closer to a break even at the end of the year. The next item is the Scrimp insurance renewal. At the committee we actually finalized the Scrimp renewal on December 31st because the property liability market has been a very difficult market over the past several months. We were able to secure our continued $30 million and most of our coverage lines for liability coverage, but we had to break that into 3 layers when we traditionally had it into 2. And that second layer has cost us a lot of money. So about $144,000 more as a pool than we had anticipated. District 207 has seen the lowest increase as our losses were the most favorable over the last several years. One of the things you'll noted in the updated memo is that because the additional premiums has come in so late, that we're going to use equity, the recommendation is to use equity to cover that for Scrimp, and then we'll leave the allocations as they were presented earlier. So our overall increase remains to be 6.58%.
So these were, there were just more claims, is that what you're saying?
So, no, so it is nothing to do with us and everything to do with the market. So when you take a look at institutionally, some of, we've seen more and more natural disasters. So that is driving the property market to be kind of a, insurance for all is more expensive, particularly because of storms. When you look at the liability side, there have been many, mostly in higher education, cases of sexual abuse and misconduct that have been making the liability market leery of providing insurance coverages to school systems as a whole. They've kind of lumped all school systems into one bucket instead of segregating, and that's what we're hoping in future years will happen, is they will start to delineate their risk assessment by the educational levels, and we won't be lumped in. But this has just been the last 3 months where that market has continued to
So
decline.
it's actuarial.
It's insurance company loss assessments or risk assessments. I wouldn't say it's actuarial because they are banking on higher losses than they have had in the past because they're looking at trends.
Any other questions for Mary? All right. Item 5, instructional services. Sean?
So there's 2 reports there. We bring these to you each year. The first one is the Illinois State Scholar Report, and the second is the Student Participation Report. And I'll entertain any questions you might have once we go to those documents.
And I think this is, we've talked about this before, but I noticed that Maine South has no intramurals, correct?
Correct.
And they also have more participation in IHSA sports.
Correct.
Is that the-
Some of that is due to numbers, and some of it is how they, one is a space issue at South in terms of locations to hold intramurals after school, and some of it is the way that they've decided to use those stipends. So that's why they don't have an intramural line item.
Also looking at the summary of Illinois State Scholars data, the total every year has been decreased, now it's up to 212. So that's the definition of what are we thinking of this, what it shows.
Well, to be honest, the Illinois State Scholar really is just a reiteration of standardized test scores. So the formula that they use is based upon that, and so as different classes come through and have achieved different levels, they somewhat fluctuated. So while the total is down, if you look from year to year, you can see, for example, if you look at East, there's a 53 and there's a 47. There's, a year where it's South, they were 131, and this year they're 135. So it's pretty typical that they'll fluctuate up given the class of students.
So I guess what Tim is asking, is there anything that we don't worry about there?
Not at all. This is an honorary designation.
The numbers historically, it's within a confidence interval band, they're not, it's pretty consistent. The other thing too, it's not unusual for some of our classes, South is probably the most, the easiest example. We might have a 100-student variation from one class to another class. So just by increasing the size of the class can change these numbers, that alone can change it.
All right, monthly updated FOIA requests.
I have one this month that's been responded to.
Great, thanks. Board of Education policies for first reading, Brent?
Yes, so there are several policies that were sent to the board members in Friday notes, as well as the board packet. These were all reviewed by the ad hoc committee, and excuse me, the ones that are being brought to your attention tonight were the ones that the committee felt were essentially the no-brainers. These were minor changes, updates to references to new laws, and so these are ones that they recommended be brought to the board for first reading based on very little discussion. We do have a few more that will require more extensive discussion at the ad hoc committee level, but these are the ones that were recommended recommending. So what I suggest is if anybody has any specific questions on these, if you would like to contact me throughout, you know, the next month prior to the second reading, I'd be happy to go through the specific changes with you, if you're interested.
And then if anyone's interested, there's a red line version to kind of point out what the changes are, so it's easier for board members to understand what it is. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
All right, and I have a motion